Hi there. Today I'm going to show you what to do when you are unwell and cannot come to work. It can be overwhelming to think, oh, I need to take a day off and I don't know who to call or how to handle my caseload. Well, we have a very easy step-by-step to follow. It's all in our induction handbook, and I'm going to show you today what to do and how to do it, so we take away all of that uncertainty. Um, we all get sick at some point. We all get flu symptoms sometimes, and we need to go and get tested for COVID before coming to work. Or if you have family and children, sometimes you need to look after them. The key point is that we communicate promptly and clearly to the relevant team members, so your diary can be handled very, very easily. So this is the sick leave page on the handbook. So overall, if you need a day off, just talk to us. Talk to Holly or Tracy or your pod leader. We understand, we're flexible. If you're struggling and need some time away, there are different kinds of leave that you can ask for. So we manage anyone's sick leave as a team, from the desk to the physio team. So we know that if we postpone patients' appointments, that could be detrimental to them. So the key goal is to keep their appointments to the same day where they were booked. Even if you are not here to see them, we'll find another physio. We have a system where we write all the notes online. We all have the same pain to performance mindset. So it should be very easy, and it is very easy for another physio to look after your patient if you cannot be here today. And we need to pass this message to the patients as well. Another thought is, we don't know what the patient had to do to come to the appointment. Sometimes they have changed their working hours. Sometimes they had to arrange family matters to be able to come to the appointment. So just changing the appointment at last minute to a different day could cause, disappointment and distress on them. And more often than not, they're not going to tell us that. Also think that where they will be in the pain to performance pathway. Sometimes they're in the acute phase, they're in a lot of pain, and they have been waiting for today's appointment. So we don't want to just cancel on them. Or maybe they're very excited about moving to the next phase in their rehab, and we have already told them that today we'll be doing some outcome measures, or we'll be doing a clinical assessment to start the Pilates sessions. So we always need to look at the bigger picture and see the impact of moving appointments to our clients on their pain to performance journey. So for this, for COVID-19, there's slow tolerance, of course. We're a COVID-safe practice. That means that if you're having flu-like symptoms, you need to get tested. So it's very easy to go and get tested these days. And please send us a screenshot of your results as soon as you get them. Provide patients information to make them feel safe. And it's okay, it's not COVID related. If we have any cold symptoms, we're being tested for COVID before returning to work. So all of these messages can be given to the patients before or after the sick day. So what do we do? I'm going to run through these, and then I'm going to show you how to do it in Nucal and the other softwares. So the first thing you need to do is to notify your leadership team first. So Holly or Campbell or Tracy, if none of them are available, call your pod leader. So sometimes it'll be the day before you're due to work. Just warn them that something might happen. So usually Tracy can have a good look at the diary and see what could be moved and in case. And then the next morning, if something happened, then we already have like a little draft of the day. But if you start early in the morning, or if you woke up very unwell, call the leadership team. So Holly, Campbell, Tracy, or your pod leader, and just have a little chat and tell them what's going on. Sometimes you start very early, so just maybe a text message is more appropriate. The thing we want to avoid is to send a Slack message at 6 in the morning, because those are not apps that might be available 24/7. I mean, we might not have the notifications switched on. So if you're unable to attend to work and you start very early in the morning, give a call. If you think it's too early to give a call, send a text message. And make sure you got a reply from someone saying like, okay, we'll chat in an hour or so. Then you arrange a time to call and email the templates to the leadership team. So have your NUCAL open and your MindBody open if you teach classes, and be prepared to discuss caseloads. So for example, you call Holly and then you start going through your day, saying this patient could be seen by this physio, this other patient could be seen by this other patient, physio, and so on. What hours you might be able to extend, and so on. You will need to complete an email handover. We have a template that has been set during the induction process in your Google email. It's called Sick Leave Template, and I'll show you in a second how it works. And that needs to be sent to your pod leader, Holly, Campbell, and front desk, and Tracy. So I'll take you through in a moment. If you wake up and you feel very unwell and you cannot come to work, you will need to text your first few patients, the early ones, 6:30, 7:30 a.m. patients. We have admin from 7:30 onwards most days, so they can look after the caseload from then onwards. But the very early ones, I'll show you how to send a message from NUCAL. Avoid sending text messages from your private mobile phone, because we cannot track those ones down, and admin will have no idea whether they reply to you. So the best way to contact your patients is via messages from NUCAL, or call them directly. I usually put my phone in no caller ID because I don't feel comfortable with all patients having my mobile number, but then you can ring them as well. And then when you return to work after being sick, go back to that day, look at the cancellation list, and see who failed to rebook, and that's when you apply your ensuring patient satisfaction guidelines. So give them a ring or send them an email saying that you're back. You can disclaim what happened. If it was a COVID test, came back negative, it was just a cold, and see where they're at, how they're feeling, whether they're prepared to rebook and come back at an agreed time. So remember, we don't want to drop care just because something happened on the way. The call is not to rebook them, actually. It's to see where they're at, where their symptoms are at, and how we move forward, how we continue in the pain to performance journey. And then the admin has a little bit more training on how to handle these cancellations as well, and it's in the induction handbook. So I'm going to show you here what I will do if I woke up unwell. So for example, on a given Tuesday, I start at 7:15. I might wake up at 5 in the morning feeling very, very unwell. So I'm going to call Holly. 6 in the morning, I'll call Holly. She doesn't answer, I might try Campbell, and I'll text them. I will say, guys, unfortunately, these are my symptoms. I don't think I'm fit to work today. I'll be sending my handover template real soon. And then I'll go into NUCAL and I'll put a note, and I'll just put unwell. And actually, once Tracy or Holly see this, they're gonna do it for you. But then this will prevent from getting online bookings during the time in between you notify them that you weren't well and by the time they block the diary. So then, for example, I'll do the whole day, and then I'm gonna see who I have first. I have these 2 girls, so I'm gonna go and send them a message telling them that I cannot come, so you can go send message. And we have a template called Physio Sick Today, so you don't need to do much in terms of typing here. It's all pre-filled. So you can say, yeah, I'm really sorry, I'm unwell this morning, will not be able to come. One of the front desk will call you to rearrange, and then you send it. And then, if it's super early, say 6:30 in the morning, you can look here whether they have replied in this little symbol. Here you can see all the messages that have come to Square One from patients via SMS. So at the moment there is nothing. So you can actually see whether the patient replied to you. So in that case, I will be doing that for these 2 patients. Sending them I'll show you again. I'll just click on them, send message, and pick the template, physio template, and then send. Okay, and then by 8 a.m. we have more physios working, so I will look across and see who could see my 8 a.m. patient. There's nothing at 8 a.m., but there's something at 8:30. So I could probably go and put a little note there saying, save for my patient. I'll just show you in a moment. So that's basically, you need to look at your patient caseload, and I could put a note here, say for John Kremen from Seoul, okay? And you put it here. So that way, the patient has been moved to a different physio, but almost at the same time. I mean, whatever works with the least disruption in the diaries. And then again, you keep on looking. You know, Lauren will have appointments that. So as you look in the diaries, once you have texted the first thing is actually text your early patients so they know very soon that the appointment is no longer available. Ideally, some days we have other physios that would take that 7:15 class, but today we didn't. So I'm going to go and compose my handover template, which is saved on everyone's email, and it's called Sick Leave Template. And it says basically what you need to do, send to the practice manager, so it's Tracy, pod leader, Holly, and the front desk at the locations you work, and a little message. Kids sick at home, or have gastro or something. Expected to be back when? Maybe Wednesday, the next day. Can I change the diary? You could put here. I can extend. I can stay later on Friday until 7 p.m. for example, to fit your diary if you're having an overflow of patients, or if they're having problems to rebook these patients that they will only see you on the same week. And then it's all pre-filled, so you need to go when they need to be seen, today, by who. So maybe Jared, for example, that John Kremen, reschedule my diary, or this patient is very complex or complicated, he wouldn't see any other physio, but he's booked with me next week, or I want to see him next week on a Tuesday. Or they already have an appointment, so keep appointment and clinical handover. And the clinical handover is just like a brief, it's like passing the ball. You don't need to give a huge handover because it should all be in the notes, right? The physios will have the diagnosis in the notes, the latest treatment, the rehab, they will have access to MedBridge. So what you want to put in your handover is just like a very specific action plan for that day, what you were going to do. It will be something like, continue manual therapy, avoid, for example, pivens because the patient doesn't like them, and then you can put something like progress tendon rehab to, phase 3, or please take outcome measure for VISA-G, for GMT, so the physio can do the VISA-G for you that day. Or it could be a review home program and progress, so something specific. And then you do that for every patient that it's booked with you on the day that you cannot come to work. If it's a Pilates class, you do it for the Pilates class. There is a Pilates handover as well. And then you send this. So now you have told the leadership team, you have texted your early morning patients, you have sent the handover template. Yeah. So in Google Drive, there is a Pilates handover template. You can do it if you're in a rush. If you're unwell, you can do it in the same template for physio, but it's also a Pilates handover. Template that if you're a Pilates instructor, you have access to. And again, it needs to be a specific handover, something that is not written in the notes, something that's easy to read, quick to follow, so it's a smooth transition for the other patient to take. So this has a handover template. We actually need to create one for across the whole Pilates team, but at the moment every physio will type their own, especially when they go on holidays. You see, something subjective, something objective, do's and don'ts, avoid, patient doesn't like kneeling, or avoid end of range lumbar flexion, something that could be missed when physios are reading the normal notes. Okay, so you have done your handover notes. So you go back to your NUCL, you have a plan, you see who the patients could be seeing. If you have a meeting, that will be deleted or moved to another day if it's like a clinical reasoning meeting, and so on. So then that's what you do. So it's very simple, right? You just need to own it. One of our core values is own it. Own your caseload. And that doesn't mean that they can only see you. That means that we need to minimize the impact in the diary for the good of our patients. And then how do you translate that into your zero? You need, when you fill up your template for payments, for that Tuesday, I will leave it blank on my pay template, but there is a sick leave application template. So you just need to go there and you just fill the content and the hours that you were meant to work on that day. So by adding the sick leave hours with the other template that you have filled for that week, that should make up your total working hours for that week. So new leave, I'll just show you briefly. What type of leave is personal care leave. That's the one for sick leave. Description, had gastro, approver, Tracy, the date, and the hours that you are supposed to work that day, and then you apply for that you requested, and it all gets worked out through my payroll. So that should all be very straightforward. Please have a look, follow the prompts. Key messages one more time: tell the leadership team as early as you can. Don't use Slack, use a phone call or a text message. Don't call your patients don't text patients from your phone. Use texting from Nuco. And all handovers needs to be sent via email, no Slack, because again, for Slack, it's hard to retrieve that information. With email, it's just very easy to keep that information in the system. So handover sick leave template to front desk, to all the physios that might be seeing your patients that day, to your pod leader, and Holly and Tracy. So the more people know about it, the easier. Over communicate. Don't feel embarrassed because things happen, but we need to own it and try to be strong and healthy and come back to work. And then when we have been back to work, actually that's something I was just about to forget. So we have another template, of course. When you are back to work, there is another template called Unwell, and it's like a follow-up after you have been unwell. So it says, I just wanted to contact you and apologize for missing our appointment yesterday. For example, I was so unwell, and you can disclaim as much information as you feel comfortable with, but that's plenty. And I know you're busy, and I'm sorry. And this is for the patients that fail to rebook. And then you think, oh, they will only see me. They might be wondering whether I have COVID. So better off just to send them a little message, say I'm back, and show them what the plan is. The plan next session is to get back to your treatments and move on to, and you start thinking time to performance again. People really appreciate these little messages. It doesn't take too much, and it has a huge value when you think of building and maturing your caseload. So I hope that was useful. So next time, follow the procedures step by step. And if you have any questions, Tracy or Holly, Campbell, myself, just ask. The information is always there available. Okay, have a good day. Bye.